All right, we have some simple arithmetic with fractions here. I just want to review some of the rules on how to do this stuff. So if we're doing addition or subtraction, the first thing we need to do is we need to figure out what is the common base that we can use for these numbers. And a lot of times I like to use the simplest common base, but you can do this in a number of different ways. So if I'm doing the simplest common base, that is what's known as the least common multiple. And it's going to be a number that comprises all of the factors of each of these numbers that we care about. So if we look at the bases, these are the prime factors of these bases. Now, I have a 5 to the 1 here and here. I just need one 5 to the 1 in my least common multiple. 2 squared, I don't have any other 2's. I need that 2 squared. 3 to the 1, same thing. So I end up with 5 times 4, which is 20, times 3, which gives me 60. So 60 is my common base. Now, how do we convert the bottom of 1/3 to be a 60th? We'd have to multiply the bottom by 20, which means we'll also multiply the top by 20. And that's going to give us 20 over 60 for this first fraction here. Now 1/20th, I'm multiplying the top and the bottom by 3. That's going to give me 3/60ths. And then this -1/5, I'd multiply the bottom by 12. And you can see that because I have 5 times 4 times 3, which is 12. So the top and the bottom are multiplied by 12, giving me -12/60ths. Now all of these are 60ths. So you can just lump them all into one fraction, and you basically have 20 plus 3 minus 12, and 23 minus 12 is equal to 11. So we end up with 11/60ths. When we're doing multiplication, on the other hand, you take the tops and the bottoms and you multiply them separately. So this is not the same as addition or subtraction. I'm multiplying the tops and I'm getting 3. I'm multiplying the bottoms and I'm getting 15. And then I could simplify this by saying top and bottom are both a multiple of 3, which we should have seen visually here. And we could have crossed those out and said, okay, this whole thing becomes 1 over 5. And 3/15 is also equal to 1/5. So that's how we do simple multiplication. You multiply the tops and separately multiply the bottoms. Now division with fractions is interesting. So we have 5 divided by 3/5. And when you divide by a fraction, no matter what the fraction is, it's the same as multiplying by that reciprocal. So the reciprocal is basically the fraction upside down. And that means we have 5 times the reciprocal of 3/5, which is 5/3, which gives us 25/3 as our answer to this one. Finally, we have a fraction, and we are dividing by a whole number. Well, this is the same thing we just talked about with multiplying by reciprocal. The reciprocal of 5, you can really think of 5 as 5 over 1. Because it's a whole number, it has a denominator of 1. It's just imaginary and we don't put it in there. So if we wanted to multiply by reciprocal, we'd have the top times the reciprocal of the bottom. And this is going to give us 3 over 25, which is our answer to this last one. So just remember, if you're doing addition, subtraction, you have to find common bases before you can add or subtract the tops from each other. And otherwise, if you're doing multiplication or division, you're basically multiplying the tops and the bottom separately. And if you're doing division, then you're basically multiplying by the reciprocal, which makes life a lot easier.